Hey everybody, here we are, and we're going to do a furlough update video.
Long awaited.
We said we were going to do one, we're going to do one.
So, why has it been hard to get a furlough update done?
Because we're busy.
We're busy.
Getting ready for furlough. That's
so,
why.
furlough, for those who don't know what that is, that's when we take some time to do our second thing that we are accountable to is our sending churches, get some training, get some rest, spend time with family, and so not a vacation. And
No.
no, not at all, because as missionaries, we have an accountability to both the people that are sending us and partnering with us, as well as to the church. And so this is a time where we leave the ministry side of it in the hands of someone here, and then we take some time to do updating and time with family. So, yeah.
So in that process, we are in the process of, well, first of all, we purchased our plane tickets. We leave on May 10th.
May 10th.
To go to North Carolina.
We're flying out of Aguadilla, out of the west side.
Yep, from our side of the island, so a short 4 or 5 hour flight. We'll be there next morning, and then we are moving out of our house. So we are in the process of packing up everything, storing it. Thankfully, we have a friend in the church who's going to let us store things in his house. He's got extra rooms. So we're storing most of our things with him, including our vehicle, once we leave. Then we're going to be out of our house. So that's a big one for when we come back. Pray about that when we get back, because we're going to have to find a new house when we get back. So that's the first step. We're working on that right now. Personally, got our plane tickets. We're working on getting our house packed up. Then we'll go to North Carolina. And from North Carolina, we will go up to Pennsylvania for an entire month. We're spending a month at a church home. Thank you to the church in Bellefonte,
Yeah, God has graciously provided this ability.
Very nice house, yeah.
And during this time, we're going to take some rest, do a bit of a sabbatical, and with some counsel, just take that time and refresh and reset a little bit, and yeah.
Read some books, hang out with kids.
I don't think we've ever done this in ministry. We've taken a week at most, not taken.
Yeah, vacation. We've taken vacations, but not rest. And they're not, it's different. It's
intentional rest versus just go and have fun per se. Yeah.
So we'll be doing that. It's a spiritual recharge as much as it is a mental break from
mental
ministry
health
and things.
And everything. Yeah.
So there's that on our side, and then after that we'll go to training in New Hampshire with IBM Global. 2 weeks of training up there with them, and get to know the board a little bit better and make plans with that, and go through a lot of different steps with that. And then we'll be headed south from there, maybe take a couple meetings on the way down, or head back to Georgia. Big prayer request still. We are looking for housing in Georgia still, so pray we can find a good sized house for us to live in for the year. We don't mind renting a house, obviously. That's not the issue right now. The only issue is finding a house to rent.
Yeah, we
of some sort.
previously announced that we had it provided, but there was some details in there that didn't quite work out. And so, we're still looking, and so just be in prayer for that.
Yep.
Yep.
We know God will have the right place for us for whatever reason that wasn't it, and so we're working on that. So that's on that side of things for us. Logistically speaking, there's a lot of little nuts and bolts to get done.
And there we'll start. Also, spending a little bit of time with family, but getting things going for Zachary's surgery, cranial
new
surgery.
Insurance, all kinds of little steps.
Be sure to update when we know all that information, because we don't know yet until we get there.
No, we won't know. So that's big on the starting into that, and then of course taking a few meetings once we get back to Georgia. We'll be doing the furlough side, reporting to the supporters, looking for new supporters, things like that. A lot of meetings. This time we do meetings with both individuals as well as churches. So we will be taking personal meetings, talking to people that we know, sharing the ministry, and asking about partnership with us. So that's a big part of this time, different than previously we've done, where it was all churches. And again, grateful for church support as well, but feel like both ways are biblical. So we'll be doing a little bit of both this time.
Yep.
So that will be a lot of our time there while we're in the States. So on this side of things, church side, I didn't miss anything else on our personal side that we need to mention?
I don't think so.
That's
just
fine.
being able to take some time to, and we're going to also introduce some of the kids to some of their culture there. They don't really know the States as well. We're going to be doing some historical
Walmart. Oh, culture. Oh, you mean like
culture.
actual historical culture?
Historical culture and things. So, just pray for wisdom as we're seeking the right balance in that, to spend time with family, but also working on our partnership development and updating our faithful supporters as well.
Yeah.
So
we definitely want them to understand the United States, because they may move back there when they graduate. We're not keeping them here in Puerto Rico.
We never know.
When they graduate, they might go to the States, and they need to at least have an idea what's going on.
And then while they're also still pastoring, offering counsel and things here. So it's a multifaceted, not a vacation at all.
No.
Your missionaries are not on furlough for a vacation, and try to help them and support them, and offered to go to Kroger with them or Walmart or whatever it is and go shopping for them for a little while or drop some because it's overwhelming to go back into the culture. So
it is very different than here. You guys, you live there, so it's like when you coming here, you would be shocked by a lot of things. When we go back there, even like I said, Kroger or Walmart or grocery store or whatever, it's so much bigger than it is here, and there's so many more options. It's so hard to figure out like where you start because you get used to doing things a certain way and you have your routines, and then all that's up in the air. So it's not, again, understanding of this culturally speaking, mentally speaking. As a missionary, you are no longer part of either culture, and I guess I mentioned this for just a minute. Kids especially, you have a yellow culture and a blue culture, but you're green. You're halfway in between each culture. You're still American, still sort of Puerto Rican, more Puerto Rican than you think you are until you go back to the States. You realize you're more Puerto Rican than American, but you're not really American either. And so you're in between.
What happens is while you're gone for 3 or 4 years, the entire area changes. And there's constant development, there's constant new pop culture, there's new presidents, there's new whatever. And so everything is different, even though you're from there. And I remember the first time coming back, and I just ran into Kroger for just a minute just to go get a couple of essentials. We had just gotten in that day, I think, and I broke down like just choosing deli meat. Like I knew what I needed to buy. I just wanted to get some chicken breasts and some bread and some, a couple of basic things. But the store was so huge, and then I didn't know where to find anything, even though I used to shop in that store for years. And I was there weekly. Like I know this in your brain, but you just break down because your brain is overloaded. And so and then when you come back, guess what? The society has advanced or changed in the areas there, but you're also not from that culture as a child, so you don't fit in either one.
And there's that. Our kids, of course, on their side, they have some friends in the neighborhood, but they've been kind of they were spending a lot of time with them for a while, but it seems like they kind of not as close as we thought they might have been for some reason. We don't really know. Maybe it's because they're leaving. We don't really know what's going on with that. Some of the kids kind of getting to be 12 and 13 years old, and they don't mix culturally
Andrew
at that age. So
horse farm, he's pretty connected with them because he works with them all the time, and so
that's different.
And then the boy right across the street, but the ones on the other side, they go to school together. They spend more time together.
So it's gonna be a little bit of loss on that for them as well, as because the only friends they know are here. They don't have friends in the States, and then they'll make friends in the States when we go on furlough. Probably not close friends, but they'll make friends and have to come back here again. Kind of start over, and so there's a lot of mental and emotional sides to that.
Remember our last furlough? They only remember seeing automatic trash cans for the first time, or automatic faucets, or squirrels for the first time. They remember seeing some of those shocking things, like even some of our little kids have never seen an escalator. Or an automatic, how do you wash your hands, just little things like that are very normal to everyone else.
It's pretty funny when you haven't been around for long. It's funny, but it's also, it can be overwhelming.
It can be
a lot of that. Imagine like 100 new things in one day. You're just so that's on that side of things, especially for some of
the transition. That's why we need that time of rest to kind of slowly
enter society instead of like, boom, you're here. We will not hit the ground running. I've seen a lot of that lately, that phrase. And that's not what we're doing. We intentionally are going to be slow when it's starting. We are going to take this time. If people don't like that, I don't really care. I feel we feel like it's best for us and our family right now, and so do our people that are in our corner. People that are caring for us in that way have recommended this for us, so we know it's the best thing to do.
We believe in very grace-based. If we understand that we are as frail as we think we are, yes, we can trust in God, and He can be our refuge, and that's true. But there is wisdom in rest, and God created rest, and He created Sabbath, and He created these things for us, and if we don't take advantage of them, we're going to burn out. And so we believe in longevity and vitality and thriving, and not just surviving because God is our refuge, And it's all for it for the people who believe they feel led that way, but we feel led to, do what's right for our family, and making sure that we do things with balance and grace, and not necessarily performance.
So we can better do the ministry and family, both family and ministry. I guess you'd say in that order.
We have a balance of both. So on this side of things,
church side. So here on this side, I guess.
What's happening with the church?
What's happening with the church? I don't know. I'm kidding.
Did we get a replacement pastor?
We did not get a replacement pastor. It's a good place to start. So we originally were going to try and get fill-ins for us the whole time we were gone. There are very few of those on the island, and there are very few of those in any missions agency anymore. It's not a job most people do anymore. especially not people who are Spanish bilingual
Yeah.
that can run 2 churches in 2 languages. So your
Available.
pool of availability is quite low. And even here on the island, most of the guys that are available are only Spanish speaking, not bilingual.
And several
And
churches are without a pastor.
And there are 3, maybe 4 without a pastor right now. So they're already farming out their guys at these churches. So we did get a few weeks of fill-ins at first, and we could get more over time. But after much counsel and prayer and decision on this, it seemed a better idea was let those guys that would come for the first couple of weeks. But the church is going to continue doing its own Bible studies every week under leadership of some of the men who are qualified. They're not qualified to pastor necessarily, but they're qualified to teach. They're
qualified, but they're not.
Well,
they don't.
They're not called, I guess.
He doesn't consider himself a pastor yet.
Yeah. So one of our men, especially Francisco, is going to be doing most of that. He's going to be leading the Bible study. So what will happen is we're going to have Easter, and then the week after Easter, we're going to start transitioning to a Bible study format. It may be 2 or maybe 1. We don't know yet. Either bilingual or both. And every week they'll be running that. It'll be a simplified service. There might be some singing because some people still want to do music. So we're giving them like a way to do music without a musician because I play the guitar. They don't have a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe using YouTube video, something like that. We're trying to work through some details. It's going to look different. It's going to look much more
It's basically more of
casual.
A simplified service.
Very
it's
simplified.
A casual service.
It's going to have the essentials. It's going to have prayer, Bible study, and worship and offerings, which is all part of worship. So some of the people insist on having music. I said, well, you're going to have to run it because that's the way it's going to work. If you want music, you better bring a hymnal and you better lead it. He can do it, and that's fine. But we're essentially leaving it in the hands of the men and the families of the church, especially the men, but the families of the church, to continue the work while we're gone. After about a month, they're going to be fully in charge of that. The only requirements to be able to stay open are be faithful and make sure the rent gets paid so we can keep meeting.
And so when we took a look back at our last furlough, we were not ready for that yet. We didn't have as many faithful men especially coming, but we do. We have people that are grounded in the Word, and the man that's doing it has led Bible studies for years. Mm-hmm. He's not so sure, and we don't ever really feel ready to do a new thing.
Right.
But they're excited, and they seem to be excited this idea to be able to form the body, to have this close-knit time to be able to work together without necessarily dependent on his leadership, and he can kind of step back and let them start stepping in these roles. Sometimes you need a void, as we were counseled. Sometimes there needs to be a void in order for another leader to kind of step up, and
they will.
This is what we pray will be the beginning of transitioning into more national leadership, and we're going to see what God does, and then we're still maintain contact and be able to take trips back and forth if we need to, and offer counsel and things as needed. So
so that's the first step with that. We'll see how it goes. Kind of we don't know. And the truth was, again, the realization that, first of all, a big realization for missionaries is God doesn't need you to do the work. It's His work, not mine, not ours. So we do a lot of things here, but that's not the point. God could use anybody to do those things.
It's not thriving because we're here.
It's not growing because we're doing everything. It's growing because God's blessing. It's not us. It's
we didn't bring
in
these
His
people.
hands.
They just showed up, most of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's not us. And we have to realize that if even, and it's a quote unquote like worst case scenario, right? The church closes. Well, that God knew that was going to happen too. And although we don't believe that's going to happen, we don't know for sure, of course, but we don't believe that's going to happen. We feel like God's confirmed these steps. And when we made the decision to do this, He began to confirm things for us that this is the right thing to do. But we believe that even if that happens, it's all in God's hands. Yep. And, we still have a heart to come here and do the work. We learn from it and we move forward. That's all there is to it. And if it does work, which, again, it's biblical, so we believe it will work, that these men are qualified, we won't step back in and take those things away from them when we get back. We'll see how it's looking, evaluate, and we'll decide what needs to step forward. We may just go start another church. We already
know where we would go if we start the next. Yep. And so we've been eyeballing it for years and praying about the next steps in that. So just pray for this group as they learn to be the body, without necessarily this codependency on us, but codependency on each other, that they're learning to work together, and it's new, and they're still a baby, and they're taking their first steps on their own. And,
they're probably going to fall a little bit along the way.
And the last time we left, it worked beautifully, and they did an amazing time, and they did have a leader at the time, but they were really working together, and now we have more, and we're excited to see what God's going to do with all of that. And they love to study the Word, they love to get deep, and God can only do wondrous things with that.
I believe the people that are coming that are still kind of on the fringe of the church will either be really attracted to it, or they'll leave. And if they were going to leave, they're going to leave anyway for whatever reason. And they're just here to consume a service, and that's not healthy growth of a church anyway. It's not disciple making. It's not multiplying. None of those things that we're trying to actually do. And so this way, it will be organic. People are doing it, and it will create true discipleship. And they'll have opportunities to teach others as well. We've given them resources to teach. If there's a new believer or something else, they can put in their hands and they continue to do that without us. They don't need us here for that.
To take over discipleship with
He's
Alfredo
already
during
yep, already talking about teaching somebody else, one of those other men I've been working with. We'll continue to work with them from a distance, but kind of keeping our hands off as much as possible of the major overall leadership and decision making as much as possible. And like I said, try not to step back in. So however long that takes, we'll decide. Sorry about my camera flopping over my hand here, sorry. But so that's the big thing with the church. So they will continue as a church. I will still be the pastor, if you want to call it that, over things, but from a distance. I'll be stepping out.
Teacher, leader.
This will be our deacon, sort of elder type position, but not officially yet. But if he does prove himself apt to do this, then he would be very qualified to become an elder, pastor of the church in the future. And so that would be nice to have those guys saying, they are truly qualified for this.
And the ladies also working together we have some plans in place for the kids and stuff. So what does life look like for us in the next couple of weeks? After Easter, we're getting in packing mode completely.
Arrancao.
And
That's what it's like.
There was a poster board that was there for a while, and it was like this person, their head exploding. Arrancao.
Pulling out the hair. It means you're like, just it's not stress. It's just like
no, it's not. It's just a lot of little things. So we wanted to make sure all the various paperwork's in place. We wanted to make sure the financial records are correct, and most of them were. Just needed some updates to make sure everyone can find them.
Yep.
And then just making sure we're packing. We're not really shipping a lot of stuff to the States because we don't need to. Just some clothes mainly. And then, getting that stuff stored. And so a lot of physical work, but not necessarily stressful in the sense of hard. It's just, we've been in this house that we've been in for years.
7 years.
The very first time we've ever done this. And so it's a little bit weird. And then taking time and pouring into the people in the church that we're leaving in leadership and making sure they're equipped as much as they would like to be. So. Yeah,
and like I said, God has confirmed this for us because He has met needs that we were praying for and taking care of things, showing us things that we need to do, whether it's things around our house or things, personally, other things going on to make this possible, and continues to do that. So even though we don't understand what it's going to look like, we know that if God is making it happen, then just trusting He's going to take care of the next step.
We've also still met various local people and stuff as well. It's been neat. Still meeting neighbors, still meeting new contacts, and even today somebody shared this idea that. Shared that someone had suffered a house fire, and I'm going to try to contact them and see if we can help them. And so we're certainly not hands off with ministry completely. It's just moving into the next stage of it.
We'll continue until we leave, right? Until we leave. And we'll be still trying to seek to reach new people while we're here, making contacts, inviting them to church, everything else.
Training and
just be a matter of, the biggest thing will be trying to pour into the folks we have and explain to them what we need from them, what we expect from them, and making it possible for them to do it, try to make it easy on them.
And everyone that we've talked to, they're committed. They all are on board. I think all but one family knows what's going on, and
so talked to them this week.
And they're all committed. So we're going to be here, and they're excited, and they understand who we are and what we're doing, and ready for it.
Yeah, and they all seem like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah,
they understand why we need to do it. We've explained that, and they're like, yeah, we can do that. So, again, try to make it to where they don't have to have all the bells and whistles. Just meet, be faithful, study,
focus on the word,
and lead. Focus on the word and lead, and bring others with you. Bring others into that with you, and teach so you can teach others. That's the point.
And then not just leave it here, but to still be, who we're supposed to be as Christ-bearing, image-bearing of God in our community.
Yep.
So.
And so on the other side, it will be a much stronger place for everyone, including ourselves in the church. But pray for that. We have a lot of steps. We keep saying lots of nuts and bolts to get done. A lot of them got done this week. We're very excited to get a lot of things finished. I look at my list and I was like, wow, I scratched a lot of things off my list. And I don't like making lists, but we made a list of all the things that had to be done, and I was like, done. That's cool.
This week we'll be getting prayer card pictures made and working on with some help, some video potentially. So soon enough, hopefully we'll have, God willing, we'll have some new prayer cards.
New prayer card, and probably by the time we By the end of May or so, we'll probably have a video, maybe. That's a little longer process, obviously.
And I guess for anybody, feel free to contact us or leave us a message. Is while we're in the States, if you are wanting us to visit you or meet up with you, whether it be go get some coffee together or whether it be coming to your church, contact us. We'll try to coordinate schedules. We may not be able to hit everyone everywhere, but we'll see what time allows for our trip. So.
Right, we'll do as much as we can. We're gonna be busy with that once. Once we start after training, everything's over. That's gonna be our main focus is partnership development and reporting to our supporting churches. So we'll be doing a lot of that while we're there. So yeah, my number is on everything. So just call us, email us, send us a message on Facebook, YouTube, and we'll get in touch. We'll see if we can work it out. We already have several scheduled. We're looking for more, and we're looking forward to that time. It's gonna be different. I mean, something we haven't done in a very long time. It's been a minute, yeah.
It's been a minute.
Hurricane Furlough.
We might leave before a hurricane this time.
Well, I mean, we
had Fiona, but
we had a hurricane, yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So just pray for us to get things moved forward. Pray for the church. Pray for the family for spiritual, mental, emotional health through this process. As we
Benjamin's
do this.
asking us daily when we're getting on the
like,
plane.
when are we leaving? Yeah, they're excited. Kids are excited because school's gonna be out tomorrow, and then they're.
Benjamin and Jeremiah don't think remember traveling that much.
No, that'd be
They're
fun. Take on
little.
a plane. Airplane. Yeah, I think it's awesome. So that part's fun, and pray for safe travels when we get there because we're gonna be traveling a lot of miles.
And the transition sicklies,
That
almost always
always
get
get something
new
from
bacteria
somewhere.
exposure.
Yep, that's always fun. So all
That's
that kind of
perfect.
protection from that, from COVID.
We get a lot of vitamin D here.
Yeah, we do. That's true. But and pray it stays warm. Like there's no July snow or anything because apparently it's still cold everywhere. So y'all need to quit that before we come back.
And the pollen.
We'll bring the tropics with us up there. So anyway, so that's a quick update on where we are, and we're looking at this random Jeep looking thing driving to our parking lot. What is that?
Like a golf cart mixed with a Jeep.
It's a golf cart Jeep. Yep. It's weird. We'll miss that.
It's random.
We're gonna miss that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll miss it.
All the Suzukis and everything.
Little things.
Be a lot of things. Speaker trucks.
We're gonna miss avocado season.
Oh yeah, mangos and avocados. We're gonna miss them this year. Moment of silence for the fruit. All right. Anyway, but we're looking forward to seeing all of you guys. So we will be there. May 10th, we are flying out, and we will do update videos from the States, or right now before we get there, or as we get closer.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're gonna put most of our updates. And if you're not following us on Facebook,
If we post videos of squirrels.
Squirrels. Yeah, because we have iguanas.
There's
not
no squirrels on the island.
There are no squirrels. The
Or deer.
iguanas ate them all.
No squirrels, no deer.
Yeah, those will be new things for us. So fun. All right, that's it. I think that's your update. Reach out with any questions, or if you want us to come, just let us know, and we'll see you guys soon. Say bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
See you soon.